You should read The Language of New Media by Lev Manovich. And you should read Convergence Culture by Henry Jenkins. And this is a very bookish and literate crowd here at Cosmopolis. So I have some confidence in telling you that if you read these books, you will derive a lot of benefit. And you will gain the most benefit that you can have from listening to me speak. In fact, if you simply get up, leave, and immediately buy those two books, you'll be in very good condition. Now, of course, new media, as in language of new media, is no longer really a term of art. Lev Manovich now refers to his efforts as software studies, which I think may be a more successful formulation, at least for a while. Whereas Henry Jenkins' term, convergence, is unfortunately confused with the earlier idea of media convergence into one sort of super medium, which is not really what he's attempting to discuss in his book. But the theme of these two books is also the theme of my speech. Print is dead, what do authors do next? It's the theme of changes in the means of production and changes in distribution, provoking changes in both the author and the audience. And I believe this is a given, and I believe that these two books by Manovich and Jenkins describe these changes better than other books I have read. Now, they don't say the same thing. Lev Manovich, who is a professor at the University of California, San Diego, represents a kind of West Coast school, whereas Henry Jenkins, who is from MIT, represents the East Coast Route 128 rival wing. You might call it a kind of theoretical battle. The compositor, the term of Manovich's, versus the convergence, is a term of Jenkins. If you want a good briefing on this, you can read an essay of Manovich's called Velvet Revolution, which is quite brief and a really good introduction to his theory of the compositor, which is a theory I believe. And I might phrase it something like this. Now, these two theorists and critics, I don't want to damage the elegance of their writing, and really, Manovich is a particularly fertile theorist, and Jenkins does a great deal of very useful original research. And I hate to spoil the luster of their argument, but I must summarize it in my own terms. So, in the earlier means of production, what we knew in the 20th century, we and authors, there was a kind of value chain. The pen and the author's notebook, his ideas, his schemes, his half-formed scraps of ideation, bits of dialogue, the author's commonplace book, the typewriter where he rolled the paper through, tried to compose some coherent work of fiction from this inchoate mass in his notes, the agent to whom he sent the dog-eared manuscript, the editor who received the manuscript from the agent, then began negotiating with the author over the final form of the text. The press, which actually pressed ink onto paper, a distribution system of distributors, libraries, and bookstores, and finally, consumers of literary product, or the literate public, literary culture. A rather long, cumbersome, classically industrial production method still in existence, but clearly faltering, especially in the United States, and in the most advanced, or at least the most heavily digitized economies. But behind this rather rackety production chain was a rather simple means of communion: an author in a room of one's own, and a reader in a chair of one's own. And basically, it was a one-to-one medium. You did not really see mass audiences all reading the same novel aloud. It was a kind of unique individual voice, a weak voice, and a unique reader taking the pages, dealing with the text as he might.